Kriss, it was a real pleasure and joy to have you here. Um, I know we didn't really get to talk all that much, but it was really great to hear you share your thoughts on the day that you left when we had the decision making workshop. And I wanted to make this video to respond to one of the points that you brought up, which was, does Maple have less structures of domination than the mainstream society? I would say that from my own direct experience, not even just here at Maple, but even outside of Maple, before I came to Maple, it has been pretty obvious to me that there are far less structures of domination at a place like this, or even in a retreat setting, than in mainstream society. And I'm going to use my own example of addiction as a way of responding to this, as a way to do my best to make this clear. So we're all addicted to various things. Addiction is not necessarily to drugs or alcohol. In my case, I was not addicted to drugs or alcohol. It was a more mundane kind of like sensual pleasure, or we can even use addiction to thinking as an example of an addiction. But I'll just say that it's this constant chasing after what is pleasurable that you think is going to resolve some deep rooted tension that you have in you, or maybe you feel like there's this hole in yourself that you constantly need to fill up again and again, and you think that's going to resolve it, the tension or this hole, but it's really not. It's just you end up not feeling all that fulfilled. It's kind of like a hangover. Like you can drink or whatever, feel good. I don't know what that's like because I've never been drunk, but the next day you wake up with a hangover, and that's literally what it's like. You really think that something's going to give you safety or bring you happiness when it's really not real happiness. And you feel even more empty, in fact. You feel like you just need more and more and more and more of it. It's never going to end. The real way out of it, as I've learned from various teachers and from my own practice, being in retreat and in meditation, is that the real way out of it is to, for example, observe. You can call it an itch that you might have somewhere in your body, on the body, wherever, in your mind. And it's just remaining equanimous. Being equanimous means just not reacting to the itch, to the craving. And when you can just sit with it, and you don't have to really fight with yourself. In fact, that's going to make it worse. Don't make it into a struggle, but also don't give in to the craving. Don't indulge in the craving to do the thing that you're addicted to. Just sit with it and be curious. Like, how long will this itch last? What would happen if you just sat with it? It has felt to me like sitting with it and not reacting to it is going to kill me or something. Like it just, the tension might increase. The itch might even get more intense if you just sit with it. But no matter how intense it gets, no matter how bad it gets, you just continue sitting with it. Even when you think you can take another step, you still sit with it. You still do take another step. And it's like at the end of the tunnel, at first it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but when you really get close to the end of the tunnel, when you finally start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, that is the true happiness, the true freedom that arises by just remaining equanimous with the craving, with the itch. And our mainstream society does a really great job at keeping us imprisoned in our own addiction to what is pleasurable. And I guess you can say that there are two sides of the same coin, being chasing after what is pleasurable and avoiding what is not pleasurable. Even if what you're chasing after is painful, you still get something out of it that keeps you chasing after it again and again and again. You become sort of deluded, thinking that this is really the thing that's going to set you free. But we can see an example, a clear example, the free market. It knows that you don't really have free will. And I say that because, like, do you really think that your choices or your desires are really yours? You can easily say, yes, of course they're mine, but just consider what advertising and marketing does to you. It really exploits your craving, your sensual desires, making you want to do it more and more and more. If you leave your home and are like walking to work, or you go to work and you see like this candy store, I'm just going to use a candy store as an example, you might think, oh wow, that looks really good. I want to, like, one of these days I want to stop by that store and try the candy that looks so delicious. Like, I want to try it. And but the fact that that candy store is there, the fact that your environment is there and it's set up in such a way as to get you hooked, to get you interested, like, I want to try it, is actually proof that it's designed to keep you trapped. It is a structure of domination. The whole, not just the one candy store, but the fact that our society is set up in such a way to basically sell your choices, because it's exploiting your sensual desires, that is proof that it is a structure of domination. It's keeping you stuck in this addiction, and that is suffering. And at some point I realized, when I was really addicted and really desperate to overcome my addiction, I realized that I need a place that can get me to stop chasing after what is pleasurable and to stop avoiding what is uncomfortable or painful or unpleasant. And there are many retreats and places like Maple that get you to do that. Again and again, we are challenged and faced with discomfort, and the training is designed to get you to, like, it's basically asking you this question every day. Are you finally going to let go of chasing after what is pleasurable or avoiding what is unpleasant. And this is so ingrained in our society, this structure of domination, that even my parents have reinforced this structure of domination for me. And this is not really their fault. For example, at home, I've experimented with ways of getting me to stop chasing after what is pleasurable. And I'm going to use this example that has become a precept in some schools of Buddhism: no sleeping on high or luxurious beds. And at one point, I decided to experiment with sleeping on the floor. And this was at my mom's house. I was sleeping on the floor of my mom's house, and she noticed that I'd slept on the floor, and she asked me, like, "Did you sleep on the floor last night?" And of course, at that time, she didn't really understand why, but I just had to say, yeah, I did. And she had to ask the question, why? And this is very hard to explain to someone like my mom, like, why would I sleep on the floor? It seems crazy to sleep on the floor. But the reason why was, as I said, I was experimenting with not becoming addicted to pleasurable things. And it's not really torture to sleep on the floor. I guess not if you have like a blanket or something on the floor, if it's a hardwood floor. And if it's carpet, I guess it's fine to just sleep directly on the carpet. But I really wanted to, at that time, I was really experimenting with what works for me, what can get me out of this addiction to what is pleasurable. And I hope that makes sense. But basically, we are addicted to things, anything, even the most mundane thing like thinking. And a true system, a true structure that is not dominating, however you'd phrase that, is what gets you out of this addiction to what is pleasurable, and that gets you to stop avoiding what is uncomfortable. And you will see that if you really sit with the discomfort, if you really sit with the urge, the itch, without reacting, then you will realize a joy and a happiness much greater than the pleasure that you might get from any kind of sensual pleasure or even thinking. So hopefully that helps to clarify. I actually invite you to experiment with this as well, because a lot of what I've realized didn't come from what I believed, but it arose from my own direct practice.